Have you ever been really excited for a movie and then it just totally exceeded your expectations? I had that. It was The Avengers in 2012. Then, again, yesterday, when I went to see Captain America the Winter Soldier. Here's my review. Alright, so the first thing you notice about this movie is its comedic tone. Right from the very first scene, where we're introduced to Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon. Shh, we don't know that yet. And this first scene introduces you to the lighthearted comedic tone that will be present throughout the rest of the movie. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this particular scene, comedic-wise, is Cap's list. Alright, so you remember how in the Avengers, Cap sort of, he'd been frozen for 70 years? So, he kept getting all the pop culture references wrong and he didn't recognize them, except that particular one. Yeah, you know that one. Well, in this movie, he has a list of pop culture things that he needs to catch up on. On this list are pop culture things like Star Wars, Star Trek, Nirvana. Fun fact, apparently this list is actually different depending on where you see the movie. When we saw it in Australia, it had stuff like AC/DC and Steve Irwin in it, whereas in England, I'm told that it has Sherlock, as in the BBC series, which, makes sense, it was a good series, but we're talking about Captain America and how good it was. So this is just an example of one of the really good comedic elements in the film, and there are so many good comedic elements. Then after that scene, we're thrown into the very first action sequence of the movie. It's an action stealth sequence, and holy Christ! This movie has so much good action in it. The action sequences in this movie are so good. There are so many of them, and every single action sequence, you are literally glued to the edge of your seat watching this movie and just acknowledging how amazing it is and how cool it is that you can be watching it. Apparently, all of the fight choreography in this movie was actually overseen by someone who's actually a top-notch martial artist fighter, so that really shows through all of the action. And yes, I did say that this was a stealth sequence because Captain America the Winter Soldier is not just a superhero movie, it is also a spy and espionage flick. It does an awesome job of showing that particular genre, and honestly, I think if you took all of the Marvel stuff out of it and changed it around, it would still be an amazing movie, and I would still really like it. And speaking of Marvel elements, we get so many Marvel characters in this movie. Good Marvel characters. We've of course got Chris Evans as Captain America, and that's amazing. He is actually perfect as Captain America. I can't believe people doubted it originally. Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury gets a much bigger role in this movie than we've seen him have, as in he's actually integral to the plot, which is nice to see. Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow, also gets a much bigger role in this movie. She's almost a deuteragonist to Cap. She's got almost exactly as much screen time as he has, and her character development is just really good. They have this playful banter with each other where she keeps trying to set him up with these other people. There's a little bit of ship teasing there, but it's not going to amount to much. It's just so nice to watch these characters on screen together. And then we have the characters that are new to this movie. More specifically, I'm talking about Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, and the Winter Soldier. Falcon is an absolute pleasure to watch in this movie. There's just so much good chemistry between Sam Wilson and Captain America, and, I would say that they were perfectly written for each other. They go together just so well. And watching him fly around with those falcon wings, like you've seen them in the trailers, it's so badass. You will love his scenes. He's so good! And then there's the titular antagonist, the Winter Soldier. I say antagonist rather than villain because he's not really villainous. He's more of a weapon of the villains. And I won't tell you that much about the character because it is a bit of a spoiler for the movie. I mean, if you've actually read it, then you already know the spoiler anyway, but some of you haven't, so I'm not going to. But rest assured, he is the most badass antagonist in any of these Marvel films. You can say that you enjoy Loki, and I enjoy Loki in the Avengers and the Thor movies, but I wouldn't say that he is a badass. The Winter Soldier is a badass. Loki was fun. Winter Soldier gets in on the action. And in getting in on the action, he just wrecks so much shit! Winter Soldier is meant to be the perfect assassin, super spy soldier, and my god does he show it. He shows it so well. And he doesn't just show up at the end of the movie as like a final boss or whatever. He's actually there consistently throughout the movie. Cap and the Winter Soldier get into so many scraps. And despite being the villain's muscle for most of the movie, you know, he still has a really powerful character arc. Which, again, I can't talk about because of the spoiler issue. But you'll know it when you see it. It's a decent arc, and it's going to wow you. So, you can sort of guess from what I've just said that I really loved this movie. This movie is incredible, and I cannot tell you enough how incredible it is. The comedic tone is perfect, the action scenes are perfect, the plot is amazing, the characters are so good. Is this the best Marvel movie yet? Well, that's a matter of personal opinion. I would definitely say that Winter Soldier is in the top 5 Marvel films of all time. And this is my first movie review, but I am going to give it a rating. This movie will absolutely blow your socks off, because it is just so good. So that's my review of Captain America the Winter Soldier. I would like to know what you guys are doing. Are you going to see it? Are you not going to see it? If you're not going to see it, you have to tell me why, or I'll just assume that you're an angry butthole. Because this movie, it was amazing. Anyway, comments down there, you know, like, subscribe, all that other YouTube stuff. I am Trader Nick, and I will see you next time. Bye!